The change from corporate America to real estate can be jarring, but there's a lot of things that you can bring from corporate America that will make you successful. In fact, there's some things that you can bring from corporate America that will give you a strategic advantage over your peers. Let's talk about that today. All right. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Let's get into it right now. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Sascha Chatman here with Chatman Realty Group. And as you know, and if you don't know, I'm a real estate agent here in Fort Worth. And my company, Chatman Realty Group, and my team, we are powered and brokered by EXP. So today's video, this is a follow-up. This is part 2. And I talk about our move from corporate America, okay, to real estate, how that worked, okay? So I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis, and I'm gonna get right on into it about what skill set you can bring over that work well, all right? So real quick, I used to be a hospital administrator, guys. I did that for like 17 years of my life. I'm a Lean Six Sigma black belt, project manager type of dude. I ran finance and revenue cycles in healthcare. I've run ORs, ER, cath labs, cancer centers, housekeeping, dietary facilities, etc. If there was a department in healthcare in a hospital, it probably reported up to me. Also ran a number of physician practices as well. All right, that's the background. Okay, so how does a guy like me move over into real estate and be successful? Okay, I struggled at first. Okay, I really did. I must be honest, I struggled. But I found that I had a unique skill set that others did not have that I brought over. So let's get with what that skill set was. All right, number 1, strategic planning. I did strategy and strategic planning at a very high level in healthcare. And when I first came over to real estate, you know, I'm just used to having a plan. That's how I function. I need to know where I'm going and when I'm going to get there. So I legitimately made up a 5-year strategic plan. Okay. I made a 5-year strategic plan, and I still have this plan to this day that I am constantly evolving every single year. So I'm telling you, I did a SWOT analysis and everything, guys. And when I talked to some agencies, like, why are you doing all that? They like, seriously? Sascha, just get out there and sell. I'm like, you don't understand. My brain is jumbled and it will not function unless I have a plan. I'm really like that. That's how I am. So that was number 1. I got a strategic plan. I put together a really good strategic plan. I broke out my old healthcare PowerPoints and I just translated that knowledge over to real estate. And it worked. Okay. Number 2, I came back and I needed an operational plan and a budget. What's the point of having a strategic plan if you don't know how you're going to do year over year? So my strategic plan was at the top, and I said, okay, how do I operationalize this thing and financially be responsible? So I came up with an operational plan, okay? And then I set a budget to that operational plan. I legitimately, guys, broke out the old A3, okay, to start coming up with my operational plan. I legitimately took the A3 methodology and said, okay, how am I going to come up with this operational plan to put in place for the entire year? I'm telling you, so all my people in healthcare are going to be laughing at me. It's just like when I had the mission control room, I went back and had my little levers. I had my major levers, then my sub levers, and then I had my monthly goals of what it is that I need to do. Operationally, build out my marketing plan. This is what I need to do. So marketing is a big lever, okay? And then I had public relations, then I had postcards, the whole 9 yards of everything that I needed to do to make that work. Once again, it felt a little lonely because as I talked to other agents, like, go sell some houses. So I was trying to get the plan together and sell houses at the same time. So caveat, real quick, squirrel moment. You cannot stay in analysis paralysis. You do got to sell houses. You do have to lead generate. But for me, this was really bugging me. And if I didn't do this, I knew that I was not going to be able to sleep at night and get things going. It's just how I'm wired. So understand how you're wired and bring that stuff over. Okay. Number 3, research. Okay. So while I had a plan going on and whatnot, I had to figure out the best tactics. I became a student of this game in real estate. I cannot stand not knowing something and not understanding or being dependent upon someone else to really get what I need to do. So I became this really big student. I would stay up to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night, researching what I got to do, how to have the best website. And I did my day job of calling leads during the day, okay, when I could, or showing houses. And then at night, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I was researching. So I put that work in. Let me say that number one. I really put the work in. And the research led me down a path of coming up with some really good ideas of how I could bulk lead generate, how I could market better and faster than anyone else. Because remember, guys, I was still doing this part time and I needed to be able to save time. So once I had this plan together, I started doing what I called rapid test of change. You guys remember that back in healthcare, right? Plan, do, learn, act, or plan, do, learn, adjust, whatever. It's all the same thing, and we all know it's the same thing. It's just whatever that consultant telling you it is at this time. If you pay me enough, I'll come back in and turn to plan, do, learn, and adjust for you. Real talk. 40 grand retainer fee though. So at the end of the day, I started doing that. I would put in a plan and I would test it and see if it worked. And I would keep adjusting and tweaking. For example, open houses. I knew that I need to bulk lead generate. Okay. And the best way I thought to do that is get in front of people, not on the phone as much, but getting in front of people all the time at an open house. But when I first started open houses, I sucked at it. I wasn't good. So I came up with a plan on how to get more people there. Then I tweaked it. And then the next week I said, oh, I got another problem. And I tweaked that problem. And again. Before you knew it, I had open houses to the point to where I could legitimately get 30 to 40 people there, no problem whatsoever. And I can get 20 different families there anytime. You can give me an open house on a Wednesday and I'm going to be able to pack that open house out. I know how to do that because I put that in place. Rapid test cycles of change. I never thought I would bring that one back, but I did in real estate and it is excellent. Okay. All right. Number 4, delegation. Okay. I was a master delegator in healthcare. One thing that's made me very successful was being able to operate and run a team and getting a group of people to work towards a common goal. I was really good at this. The only problem in real estate is there was no team. There was no squad put together. So that's what I had to do. I had to go ahead and figure out who was on Team Chatman. Okay, so when I mean that, I first started as an individual agent part-time. I'm not talking about Chatman Realty Group and bringing all these people in. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about who's actually on my team. For my lenders, my new construction folks I work with, my title company. So I basically went around and started interviewing all the best title people out there, and I figured out who would put time and energy into me. And I went out and figured out who was going to be the best people from lenders in that perspective. What I was looking for was people who was going to tell me the truth and what I actually did well and what I did not. Because I didn't have the right eyes. I had the eyes of an administrator at the time. I didn't have the eyes of a real estate agent. So I relied on these people to A, kind of check me, B, help me grow my skills. And when I came across people who wasn't willing to do that, I cut them. They couldn't be on my team. It's just like I was in healthcare. If you wasn't open and honest with me about what we're doing and I couldn't trust you, you could not be on my squad. So that was a big one. I had to build my squad for Chatman Realty Group and get that figured out. Now, this next one here, number 5, is going to feel kind of weird maybe to some people, but it was branding. Branding is everything in real estate. But for me, my mindset for branding was I was so used to working for this big company and I couldn't get away from that. And to this day, I still can't get away from that. That's how I came up with Chatman Realty Group. That sounds very simple because my last name is Chatman, but I couldn't just come up with Chatman Realty Group based off of, oh, I'm a real estate agent. I had to think about in the future of what I wanted this company to really truly be down the road. And as I thought about my 5-year plan, I wanted some of the A that had my name stamped on it, that it could be a legacy left over for my children, right? So Steph and I talked about that, but I also wanted something that was really who I was. I was a corporate guy. So there was a part of that was so used to being corporate in corporate America that I had to kind of stick with that a little bit because it was comfortable, okay? But I also wanted to be something that could resonate down the road. Thus, Chatman Realty Group. So that was important for me. The next one on the list for me, number 6, is going to be soft skills. Okay. Not me. It has never been me. For my disc assessment guys, I've always been a high D, and then I became a high D, high I over time. Curious what I am right now at this point in time, but I didn't have the best soft skills in the world, and I knew that about myself. So I went to training. Right? If I want to be a good salesperson, because this job is about sales, I had to become a good, working on soft skills, basically. So I did that. I went through some trainings to kind of better understand that, and then started looking at really psychology, so you can better understand people, how to read people's body language even more. So it was a skill set I already had, a little bit, but when it comes to selling versus managing, it's a little bit different. So I had to bring that over, but I had to put some time and energy into that one so I can kind of get that one figured out. So that was a big one. All right, number 8. Okay, I put my negotiation skills to work. Okay, I was a masterful negotiator. At least I felt like I was in terms of healthcare. I've negotiated with insurance companies. I've negotiated across the table with doctors. You name it, unions. I have had to sit down and do negotiations at various levels with a lot of people to get us to a yes and find a place of win-win. So I knew that there was going to be a skill set I can bring to the table. And I'm not just talking about me eating another agent's lunch, which I do, but I'm talking about being able to negotiate with vendors who are trying to sell us stuff. Because so many people always try to sell us stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay that. I would never pay full price for anything that they're trying to sell us. And I always get a much better deal. And so I put my negotiation skills to the test. And I've always been able to come out on top with that. Don't be afraid to negotiate with a vendor. They need your business. Make them earn it, period. So I'll put that to the test. All right, number 9. This was a big one. Process maps. Okay, so this is where the Lean Six Sigma in me is coming out. Real estate is just littered with processes all over the place. The whole thing is just one gigantic process, from selling a house to buying a house, you name it. However, I don't see process maps in our industry. And so that really bugged me. And so I was always wondering, what do I do next? What do I do next? So I got out one day, started processing mapping everything. And when I did that, my mind just clicked. It just clicked, and I knew what to do next. I knew how to do things and how to influence different situations, from helping my buyers to helping my sellers to new construction. I legitimately have a process map for anything that comes in. When a lead comes in, this type of lead, a Realtor.com, Zillow lead, you name it, an open house lead, there's a process map for everything that I do. So the agents on my team, no, we have a game plan. This type of lead comes in, boom, these are things you got to do. Follow the process map. So that was something that was kind of new, I felt like, over here. Shouldn't be. But I just don't see a lot of engineering work over here in real estate. So there it is. I started doing that, and that helped me greatly. Now, last but not least, I had to fix my accountability issue. And my accountability issue was, it was killing me. We talked about the schedule thing. I didn't know how to keep myself accountable at the point in time because I didn't have a manager. So moving from being an employee to being now your own boss can be tough. So I leaned very heavily on number 10, creating a visual workplace in metrics. Okay. So number 1, I started whiteboarding everything up. Okay. And I had to figure out what was my standard work. Okay. So once I figured out what my standard work was, and I figured out if I pull on this lever here, this is what's going to be the outcome over this way. So I started doing all of these things we did from a Lean Six Sigma standpoint, process engineering standpoint. So now that I had the strategic plan, the operational plan, now I had to hold myself accountable. Therefore, I came up with daily metrics, weekly, yearly, the whole 9 yards. But if I do these things here, this is what's going to make me successful. To the point, I know how many contacts I need to make a day. So I don't stop calling people till I make those contacts a day. I make those contacts, I know I have deals coming. I really got scientific about my work. The whiteboards, if you guys can see what I see right now, maybe I'll do a video about that. I legitimately have 12 whiteboards up in this house right now. Okay. And it's like me having my own real estate command center. That's what we call it here at the house. It's just like what we call it in healthcare. We had mission control. So I have my real estate command center here that helps me track how many people I'm calling, our strategic plan, where we're going in direction, every single deal you could think of. And I don't miss a beat visually. At the same time, I did the exact same thing to my iPad. I had to take this office with me. So I put tools and started creating spreadsheets and things so I can start taking it with me with my iPad. I legitimately have real estate A3s to help me make sure I'm working on what I need to do in my day. So it works. I hope you guys like this particular video. I know I got completely geeked out, and I let you guys see my inner geek and the nerd that's inside of me here from an engineering standpoint, but it worked. It made me successful in healthcare. And I said, why not bring this stuff over and make myself successful in real estate? And it has worked. It's working for me. So Do not be afraid to be who you are. That's the point of this video. You have a skill set that is unique to you, that made you successful in corporate America. It will translate over here. Okay? Don't let real estate agents, they want to come in and try to change you. Okay? Be coachable now. There's things that you do need to do that's going to work for you. But you have a unique skill set, bring it up over here in Reg Shop. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to talk to me more about what you need to do to get over this way, schedule me down below, call or text me. Peace. I've been through it, and I have a leak in the freaking ceiling again. Is that what I'm hearing? What the hell am I hearing?